So yeah, my sister's now just gone, so obviously still running. Probably can't hear it too well. I mean, I live on a main road as well, so there's bloody cars going past. But I'll give it a little rev. But yeah, I'll quickly jump in and I'll take up the race, because everything works as it should. Obviously it goes into reverse, fine, neutral's fine, drive and first, and obviously second. So you've got everything there. Obviously indicators, horn, everything like that all works as it should. Let me just pull out of here and I'll take it down the road. But yeah, temperature's taking a little while to come up, but I'm sure by the time I get round taking it for a little drive, you'll see that come up. So I've never had any issues with that. Put the choke back in, you know, the revs sit nice. I don't have a lot of fuel in it at the minute just because I've been using the van over there. Let's see if I can pull out of here. So she's a little bit cold, but yeah, there's a slight noise coming from, I believe it's my driver's side front wheel bearing. I haven't actually looked at it yet, but I'm pretty sure that is what it is. It's just progressively got slightly worse, and this is something I haven't really sorted out. I've been quite lazy with it, to be fair, within the past couple of weeks, but that's mainly just because having the van, really, because I've recently took on the van, and since I've got that, you know, the Golf's sort of been forgotten about, which is a bit sad, but I do love it. And say with Matthew, I'd probably no doubt get myself another Mark II Golf, because they are very special. Let's say she's honestly a fantastic car. I've used her as a daily. Never ever let me down. I think once a flange, I had an issue with a flange on the carb, but that was a couple of quid to replace, just because she was running a little bit funny, but it's just down to it being a carb basically. But that's all sorted now anyway. I mean, that was just a rubber part. But yeah, maintenance wise, it's literally not cost me hardly anything to keep it on the road. I mean, I'm not going past my mum's house, not that it bothers you, but that's her van. And underneath that cover is same as this Mark II Golf Polar Silver, but that's my girlfriend's one. She'll be having that on the road soon, so that's another reason why I thought I'd sell mine, because she's having hers soon. So I thought, you know, she can enjoy hers, and I'll look out for a new one. But I'm just trying to get to a place where I can park up and do a little video. It's a bonus that it's an automatic, so I can video whilst I'm driving. So she is quite bumpy, obviously lowered on coilovers, so they probably can be adjusted. I've never adjusted them. I don't think they're anything fancy, just, you know, your bog standard coilover sort of thing. But it rides nice, so it is quite stiff, but then it is quite low. You don't really, I mean, we've got speed bumps here, we don't really have problems with them. If anything, the splitter. But no, I went over that fine. So to be honest, I had more problems with the van being low. What I do, I'll quickly. So obviously everything works as it should. The revs do sit a little bit higher when it's in park, but I think that's just basically to do with the automatic. I mean, if you watch the revs as I pop it into drive, you can see that they drop slightly, but they sit fine. So I think it's just something to do with it being an automatic. As you can see, I put it into drive and the revs climb up a bit. But I'll jump out quick and I'll try and get a decent video of it. Let's say I did give it a clean the other day. She does come up really, really well. It's just been my pride and joy, really. Obviously with the front end, with the square headlights, I don't know if you know much, but it's a Westmoreland front end, which is a US spec. They're extremely rare. You don't see many of them, especially in the UK sort of thing. I mean, if it's not your cup of tea, then you can always get someone, or even Matthew, who's down the road, to obviously change it out for a, you know, twin headlight with the spotlights, or whatever you fancy sort of thing. So it's got the side repeaters as well, which they all do work. I'll just quickly put the lights on, might as well. But yeah, as you can see, the side repeaters obviously light up, headlights and stuff. It all works. But yeah, it's pretty clean, to be fair. I mean, the worst part about the car, you can see on the door here, it's got some rust coming through. The door itself is pretty solid. I mean, all I would say with that is you could probably get it covered up, or if you wanted to do it properly, you could replace the door, sort of thing. It's never really bothered me, but over the period of a year of me owning the car, it has sort of gotten worse. But the doors, some of the door handles are a bit dodgy. I mean, this door's the best door. I have replaced some of the handles, but to be a bit of a pain in the ass, the passenger front, you have to do it from the inside. They're just because the handles are a little bit dodgy. I mean, you can sort of take the handles out and give them a clean, and they can work again, if you know what I mean. But yeah, that handle is a bit dodgy. Let's say I think most of the handles are. But so interior wise, it's really clean. I mean, it's all here. I mean, it's not perfect. I mean, I wouldn't say it's grubby at all. But I mean, if you was to go over it with a like a wet vac or something, I mean, I'm sure you'd be able to get them looking pretty much mint. Obviously, there's a couple marks here. That's where I've been an idiot and put a wheel in here. But like I said, with a wet vac, I'm sure they'll come out. I mean, the rear bench is pretty mint, apart from that one mark, which is a bit of a shame. But I'm certain that will come out. I mean, if I get close, it's nothing crazy or crispy. It's literally just a little bit of markage. But yeah, I don't know what, a bit of fluff. But no, I mean, I haven't hoovered it recently, so it is a little bit grubby. These mats, I believe, are genuine Volkswagen mats. They're brown, they're quite rare, but obviously the carpet's all pretty good. You got, I mean, there's a mark there, but the carpet's pretty good in it, I would say. I mean, being brown as well, it's probably less forgiving than a black carpet, but I mean, it is quite good. I mean, if I pull out the mats out the front as well, then I'll show you under those. But yeah, the door's a bit of a pain in the ass, but I mean, you can always replace the handle. But it's just progressively got worse. Sometimes it will work and sometimes it doesn't. It's a little bit funny like that. But it's only the passenger front. But yeah, underneath the mats, so the carpet, you can see, once again, it's quite clean. I mean, with a wet vac, that'll probably come up quite nice. I mean, these are things that I can get done. I mean, if it doesn't bother yourself or something you want to get done, then that's fine. But I mean, I've got friends that have a wet vac and stuff like that, so that would never be a problem, sort of thing. I'll just pop the mats back in. I'll show you the boot, and I'll also open the bonnet. Oh, I've never really done one of these videos, so I hope it's going to be all right for you. I'm just trying to give you as much information as possible. But yeah, say the orange heck blend, I will be taking that off, just because that is Matthew's, unfortunately, and he did say that if I was to sell the car, he'd have that back, but everything else will be pretty much on the car. I'll open the boot. I have no idea what's in here, so that'll be interesting. So obviously all brown, matching parcel shelf. I just left the parcel shelf up like that just because the clips at the back, that one's broke, the tab, that one's there, but they're just one of them things. In the Mark II, they always bloody break, but you can replace them. But to get the brown is a little bit harder because brown's less common than obviously the black. I mean, I don't have much in it. I've just got my tools and cleaning stuff. I mean, I'll quickly whip it out to show you. So obviously you can hear running still. ticks over lovely, so I've never had any issues. And I mean, if I run around and show you the temperature, she's climbed up to temperature lovely. You know, and she'll sit pretty much there. It might get a little bit warmer if you're sat in traffic, but then that'll come back down. I mean, the fan all works as it should, and yeah, I mean, it is a bit of a shithole in the back here, so I do apologise. If I get some stuff out, I should be able to show you under the carpet. So I mean, I will give it a loving before it goes, sort of thing, a nice clean. But that was the flange part I replaced, I think I was talking about, on the carb. This one I think had split, so it was letting too much air into the carb, so it was running dodgy. But that's literally the only thing I've had to replace in the past year of me dailying it. So it is a bit grubby in here, but spare wheel, nice and solid in here. You've got no patches of rust. I mean, there's a little bit of surface rust there, but that's absolutely nothing. I mean, I'm not even sure what is there. But under the wheel, you know, apart from it being grubby, it is solid. So yeah, I mean, I quickly opened the bonnet. With the bonnet, it's a bit annoying. With the Westmoreland front, that's on it, the grille. I'll tell you what, I'll switch it off for a second, just so I can hear myself think. But no, with the grille, to open a bonnet, it's a little bit nuisance. It is something that can be sorted, but what I've done, basically, what I have to do, if I just pop the phone down for a sec, is I just pop the Volkswagen badge out, which I have on a cable tie, because in here, if you can see, you can just see the little, that wire. It should sit basically into that spring, and when you obviously pull the cable from inside the car, you can see it, it's sort of sat in there now. That will pop the bonnet, but it just sort of falls out sometimes. You can see it, it's a bit of a pain in the ass. So what I have to do is that lever in there, instead of pulling the cable from the inside, I had to put my hand sort of into the front of the car and just pop it. I mean, that's an easy fix. I mean, a cable tie can fix that sort of thing. It's just the case that the cable's a little bit too slack. But, alright, so the engine bay. I must admit, it's not the prettiest thing. It's pretty grubby at the minute. But what I can do, it looks damn sight better when it's been cleaned, to be honest with you. I should have probably done that before the video, but I mean, it is what it is. It's obviously a 1.8 carburettor engine. So I've obviously replaced things like filters and bits and bobs like that. I did have it quite clean at one point, but driving around Norfolk roads, it just gets dirty. But I mean, the entire car, the engine will buff up and tart up quite nicely. I've got a hard ECU cover, a hard scuttle. The scuttle's not the prettiest, but with a bit of paint, you know, that's fine, because normally they come with a flimsy rubbish scuttle and they break. But I got this one off Matthew, which is much better. It protects the car. But I mean, it's all of this in here is so solid. It's just kind of a bit grubby. I mean, I did clean it once, and it came up looking amazing. So, but there's no there's nothing hidden. I mean, there's no horrible, nasty bits of rust or anything like that. I mean, it's not the prettiest engine, I must admit. But once you've given it a once over, it does tart up quite nicely. I mean, I can probably do that today and show you a picture of what you can sort of get it looking like. But I mean, I don't really know what else more to say. It's such a fantastic car. Yeah, I mean, my plans with it were, I was basically planning on keeping it forever and having it converted. Possibly like a VR6 or 20 valve. But for me, since I took on the van, it was just like, I feel like I can't afford, to be completely honest, I feel like I can't afford to keep the two on the road. So one's got to go for now, but I feel like in the future I'm definitely going to get another Mark II and I'm going to go for a VR6, something like that. But I absolutely adore this car. I mean, it does have a name. I've always called her Jenny, Genevieve. So the wheels are quite nice as well. I mean, they're not great condition wise, but they look quite nice. The tyres are all alright. I think they suit the car really well. You've got spaces on the spaces all round. I can't remember what size, but little ones on the front, bigger ones on the back. Start it up again, might as well, just to show you that it stops and starts and everything else. I'll put the ECU cover back in. So I mean, like, obviously now that she's warmed up, I don't need the choke. The choke is a little bit, you can see it wobbles, so you just sort of got to hold the backing plate when you pull the choke out. But you know, you can see everything sort of reading as it should. The oil light always flashes if the battery light's on. But obviously, fire up, no problem. Now that she's a little bit warmer as well, you know, she has no problem in starting whatsoever. I mean, when she's a little bit cold, you'd sort of have to blip the throttle, but once you've done that once or twice, she will just tick over by herself. It's a shame I don't have the missus with me, because I could have stood behind it and got her to rev it, but yeah, I've replaced the belt on it recently. Can't remember. Had a bit of a coolant flush, because it did. If you look down here, this flange part, I had to replace that because that went recently, but that was only a fiver, so it's leaking a bit of coolant. But apart from that, it's great. The worst rust, I would say, in the engine bay, if we can pick it up, is at the back of the firewall. It does get a little bit crusty, but it is just surface crust, if you know what I mean. It's like, overall, it's a really, really solid car. I mean, I don't know if I can get underneath it and take a photo, but everyone that's seen it has always said good things. That was really crap. I'm not going to be able to get a video of it underneath, but I might be able to get it on my mate's ramp and get a couple of photos, if you want photos of the underneath. But honestly, I literally cannot say enough good things about this car. It's just been amazing, really, and it's never let me down. So it's not perfect, but it is a Mark II Golf. I mean, they are the age that they are. I mean, I've seen quite a few now after sort of being with Matt and helping Matt and stuff, and not just saying it because it's mine, but seriously, it is a bloody good one. And it's quite nice. It's different because most people get like the you know, a lot of people sway towards the big bumpers and stuff like that, but I think with this being a small bumper, I've always called it a granddad spec. It's sort of like underrated. It's not a GTI, no, but it's still cool and classy, and it's got its rare bits. It's got the brown interior is uncommon, so the US sort of look is uncommon. I've obviously changed the looks of it a few times with different wheels and stuff, but I would say it's how it is now is possibly my favourite look. Like, I mean, if there's anything else sort of you'd want to know, then please just ask. I feel like these videos will be quite helpful because you can see the car and stuff, but no, it's, oh yeah, that's a bit of a shame. That was there when I brought the car. I believe it used to have it had quite a bit of a dent there, and I believe Matt actually pulled it out, straightened it and stuff, and sort of that's where he got with it. The panel is quite straight, so it's just a case of maybe sorting out that little bit of rust. But yeah, overall, she is an absolute minter. Like I said, I've loved her and used her all the time, and yeah, I must admit, when she's clean, I'm looking at her now thinking, oh, I feel like I'm making the right choice. I just hope that she goes to a good home. But I mean, anything else, mate, just send us a message and ask, and I'll see what I can do. I mean, I'm free today and stuff, so I'll be able to reply and get back to you as soon as possible, sort of thing. But yeah, let us know. Hopefully these videos are all good for you. And yeah, what I'll do, I'll try and make it so you can hear her a little bit. Because if I reverse up against the wall, so everything obviously works as it should. It's got no power steering, a little bit heavy on the steering, but so that's old car. But yeah, I mean, temperature's obviously quite nice. You know, she's been running now for ages, sat still. Give her a little rev. Right, I'll fire this video across to you, bud. And like I said, if you got any more questions or anything like that, please feel free to ask. I'll be about all day, so I'll be able to reply. Not that you need steering working, but I'll put the hazards on so you can see like the indicators work and stuff. You know, everything works as it should, so it's been great. And this last MOT, I had it MOT'd a few months back, and the only advisories were, so she shuts off, lovely. The only advisories were a corroded brake line on the rear and a slight oil leak, I believe it was. So, you know, I mean, that's really not bad for the car of its age. I was well happy with that. That flew for its MOT. And yeah, it's had no welding done since I've had it. I mean, it might have done previously in its life, I've never noticed. But yeah, really special car. I'll fire this video across to you because I'm running out of things to say now. I feel like I'm rambling on, but then I wanted to get as much information as I could over to you, sort of thing. But yeah, all the best, mate, and look forward to hearing from you soon.